Okay, another thing I want to make sure that we're super clear on is on the pain section. So typically I only recommend having 1 or 2 panes per customer segment. So let's back up. When you go to a typical marketing class or any other type of entrepreneurship class, sometimes they think of customer segments as almost like the archetype of a customer. So saying like, well, one of my customer segments is males between 18 and 22 who watch Netflix on the weekends and who go to football games. So you're trying to give like common characteristics. For my class, and specifically for the value proposition canvas, I want a customer segment as a unique customer segment that has a different type of pain. Okay, so they have different pains. Let me give you an example. So let's go back to Uber. I like this example. For Uber, the biggest pain for me when using a taxi cab in the United States, like if I arrive at the Boise airport, is how much it costs. Okay, so when I got to the airport and I overheard someone ask how much did it cost to take a taxi cab from the Boise airport to the mall, and the guy said $35. $35 is a lot compared to Uber, which is probably like maybe $10 to $12. Okay, so it's 3 times more. So that's the biggest pain for me when I'm flying domestically. Now, if I was putting my wife and daughter into a cab, then probably for me the biggest pain in that customer use case is security. I want to make sure that they're going to be 100% safe and I trust the person who's driving the taxi. If I were to go over internationally by myself, probably the biggest barrier or the biggest pain for taxi cabs is the language barrier, right? Having to be able to speak Chinese or Mandarin or French or whatever country I'm in, trying to match that language. With Uber, they solve that by just putting in the address and hitting go and then confirming that the driver has the same address on his phone. So there's no language. So that would be 3 customer segments, or if it helps you better, 3 use cases, right? I'm the international traveler, I'm putting my wife and daughter in the car, and I'm also traveling, to and from an airport. Another example would be people who use Uber to commute to work. So in that case, you would under customer jobs, it'd say, okay, if you don't use Uber to commute to work, and they're definitely not going to pay a taxi cab, what do they have to do? Well, they have to have a car, which means generally they're making car payments. They're going to have to pay insurance on the car. And then for Boise, it's going to be probably a 15 to 20 minute commute. And they're also going to have to pay for parking. So all those are listed under jobs. If you take Uber to work, all of a sudden you gain 15 to 20 minutes because you can work in the car or just relax. But you also save on all your costs. So those could be 2 pains, or for someone it might be, hey, you know what, the extra 15, 20 minutes is a bonus, but the real pain you're solving is I don't have to pay for a car payment, it's just a lot more convenient. The point is this, we don't know which pain is deepest without actually talking to customers. And this is where we interview customers and understand the jobs. One of the biggest things I run into when people interview customers is they always ask hypothetical questions. Would you like to do this? Would you be interested in this product? What if there was a product that did XYZ? You never, ever do that for interviewing for customer jobs. It's like rule number 1, you never ask futuristic questions. You never ask the words if or would, because it's assuming something's going to happen in the future. You always ask historical questions. So if I was Uber back in the day, I would ask people like, when was the last time you took a taxi cab? Tell me about that. How much did you pay? How long did you have to wait? You're asking specific questions to get data. Sometimes by asking these questions, you're just going to understand the customer jobs, and sometimes you're going to see pain. Sometimes they don't have a pain. It was just like, well, this is what it was, right? Like I told you, I told you my history, but I didn't really have a pain behind it. So we're not trying to, we don't ask like, did you find that painful? We don't dig. Think of yourself as just more of a reporter, and you're just trying to write facts. And that's what comes over here is the facts.